This is Wednesday night Bible study for Men and Women of Valor Church, Pentecostal Church, located at 347 West 6th Street, Newark, New Jersey. I am Pastor Tony, the English-speaking pastor for the church. All right, we're here, Bible study, and we are in Exodus right now. So we stopped off last week at Exodus the 3rd, and we're going to continue with Exodus the 3rd chapter and continue. This is when we started getting into Moses being called by the burning bush by God to go and let his people go to Egypt and ask for his people's freedom. So this is what we're in right now. So, 3rd chapter, Moses became a shepherd of the flock of Jethro, the priest of Midian, whose son-in-law he was while he was driving the flock to the west side of the wilderness. He came at length to the mountain of the true God, to Horeb. Then Jehovah's angel appeared to him in a flame of fire in the midst of a thorn bush. As he kept looking, why here the thorn bush was burning with the fire, and yet the thorn bush was not consumed. At this, Moses said, "Let me just turn aside, that I may inspect this great phenomenon as to why the thorn bush is not burnt up." When Jehovah saw that he turned aside to inspect, God at once called to him out of the midst of the thorn bush and said, "Moses, Moses," to which he said, "Here I am." Then he said, "Do not come near here. Draw your sandals from off your feet, because the place where you are standing is holy ground." Now, this is the thing. And the Bible says, then Jehovah's angel appeared to him in a flame of fire in the midst of a thorn bush. So the angel was the burning thorn bush. And I guess it was to get Moses' attention. Now, you know, when we're watching the movie, we think God is the burning thorn bush. But it's not, it's an angel. But the voice of God does come to Moses and tells him to take off your shoes. This is holy ground. So take your shoes off. Don't come just walking up in here. You have to give some respect. And Moses was curious. Remember, I always say we need to be curious about God, and curious about what's going on with God, and curious about how God can work in our lives. To be able to defend yourself for what you believe. So Moses was curious. Why is this bush burning, but it's not being consumed? I'm going up there and inspect this. I want to see what this is all about. He wasn't scared, obviously, but he wanted to know what it was all about. And so he's going up there to the bush, and he hears the voice of God. He goes, "Moses, Moses," and he says, "Here I am." So he obviously is not scared. I don't know, I might have been scared. What? Am I going crazy? He says, "Here I am." He says, "Take off your shoes, your sandals, because you're on holy ground." So of course Moses follows that and takes off his shoes. At this, Moses said, "Let me just turn aside, that I may inspect this great phenomenon as to why the thorn bush is not burnt up." When Jehovah saw that he turned aside to inspect, God at once called to him out of the midst of the thorn bush and said, "Moses, Moses," to which he said, "Here I am." Then he said, "Do not come near here. Draw your sandals from off your feet, because the place where you are standing is holy ground." And he went on to say, "I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob." Then Moses concealed his face, because he was afraid to look at the true God. And Jehovah added, "Unquestionably, I have seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt, and I have heard their outcry as a result of those who drive them to work, because I well know the pains they suffer." So now he realizes this is God. Then he gets scared, and he covers his face. He goes, "Oh Lord," gives reverence to the Lord by covering his face, because you can't really look at God anyway. So, he covers his face, "Oh God." And he says, "I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I know what's going on in Egypt. I have heard their cries, and I feel their cries." Now this is when he's going to lower the bone on Moses, and going to let Moses know that you're going to be the one, that you're going to go and tell them to set him free. Then he said, "Do not," okay, and then And Jehovah added unquestionably, I have seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt, and I've heard their outcry as a result of those who drive them to work, because I well know the pains they suffer. He knows the pains they suffer. And I am proceeding to go down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of the land to a land good and spacious, to a land flowing with milk and honey, to the locality of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites. And now look, the outcry of the sons of Israel has come to me, and I have seen also the oppression with which the Egyptians are oppressing them. And now come and let me send you to Pharaoh, and you bring my people, the sons of Israel, out of Egypt. I don't know if Moses was expecting them. So God says, I know their pain. I know what they're feeling. I know their outcry. I feel their outcry. I hear their prayers. I'm listening to it. It's just like God always listens to your prayers and your outcries and your pain. He knows what you're going through. And he can deliver you. He can, and he will deliver you. And so he says, okay, Moses, so I know about this, about your people. And they're my people that I made this covenant with. And you're going to set them free. Now Moses is like, what? And Moses didn't expect that. He didn't expect that at all. And you bring my people, the sons of Israel, out of Egypt. However, Moses said to the true God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and that I have to bring the sons of Israel out of Egypt? To this he said, because I shall prove to be with you. And this is a sign for you that it is I who have sent you. After you have brought the people out of Egypt, you people will serve the true God on this mountain. Nevertheless, Moses said to the true God, suppose I am now come to the sons of Israel, and I do say to them, the God of your forefathers has sent me to you. And they do say to me, what is his name? What shall I say to them? At this God said to Moses, I shall prove to be what I shall prove to be. And he added, this is what you are to say to the sons of Israel. I shall prove to be has sent me to you. Then God said once more of Moses, this is what you are to say to the son of Israel. Jehovah, the God of your forefathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name, to time infinite, indefinite. And this is the memorial me to generations after generations. You go and you must gather the older men of Israel, and you must say to them, Jehovah, the God of your forefathers, has appeared to me, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, I will without fail give attention to you, and to what is being done to you in Egypt. And so I say, I shall bring you up out of affliction by the Egyptians to the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, to a land flowing with milk and honey. And they will certainly listen to your voice. And you must come, and you and the older men of Israel, to the king of Egypt. And you men must say to him, Jehovah, the God of us, of the Hebrews, has come in touch with us, and now you want to go, please, a journey of 3 days into the wilderness, and we want to sacrifice to Jehovah our God. So, now I'm reading the New World Translation, so it doesn't say I am that I am. Yeah. It says the God of your forefathers, what is his name? What shall I say to them? And at this God said to Moses, I shall prove to be what I shall prove to be. And he added, this is what you are to say to some of you, to sons of Israel. I shall prove to be has sent me to you. So in other translations, in other interpretations, it says I am that I am. In the International Version here, it says I shall prove to be who I shall prove to be, which I guess is another way of saying it. But God is certainly going to prove that he is God to them with certain things that happens. And so he tells Moses, go to the older Israelites first. Go to the whole old Hebrews first. Because once they fall in line, everybody else will fall in line. because they'll listen to you. All right. And I well know that the king of Egypt will not give you permission to go except by a strong hand. And I shall have to stretch out my hand and strike Egypt with all my wonderful acts that I shall do in the midst of it. And after that, he will send you out, and I will give his people favor in the eyes of the Egyptian. And it will certainly occur that when you go, you will not go empty-handed. And each woman must ask from her neighbor and from the woman residing as an alien in her house articles of silver and articles of gold and mantles, and you must put them upon your sons and your daughters, and you must strip the Egyptians. So he says, when you leave, you're going to leave with possessions. God never leaves you without possessions, without provision. God never leaves you without provision. And somehow, some way, he will always take care of you and give you provisions. So you're not going to leave empty-handed. You're going to have whoever the women are working for, they're going to say, give me mantles of gold and silver and things of value to take with you. And they're going to give it to them. They're going to give it to them. They're not even going to argue. They're just going to give it to them. Remember Abraham. He was scared to say, that's my wife. And one of the people wanted to marry his wife till they found out that that was his wife. And they gave him all these things, provisions. Basically made him a rich man. And then when the guy found out that was his wife, he goes, oh, no. I don't want your wife. But he sends them off, and they still kept all the flocks of the sheep and the lamb and the donkeys and the maidservants and everything he gave him, he let them keep. God will never leave you without provisions. That's why the Bible says the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the blessed. The wealth of the wicked is laid up for the blessed people. Even Jacob, everywhere he went, they was like, this guy's blessed. Well, let's bless him. See, when you're truly blessed, even the wicked will bless you. Don't know why they're doing it, but they'll do it. They'll do it. And they'll respect you too. Something about this person. I may not like him, but I'm not gonna get in his way. I'm not gonna go against this guy, but I'm gonna bless him. Because God always leaves you with provision. And not just regular provision. When God gives you something, it is the best of the best. And each woman that asked from her neighbor, from the woman residing as an alien in her house, articles of silver and articles of gold and mantles, and you must put them upon your sons and your daughters, and you must strip the Egyptians of all their riches. However, Moses in answering said, but suppose they do not believe me and do not listen to my voice, because they are going to say, Jehovah did not appear to you. Then Jehovah said to him, what is that in your hand? To which he said, a rod. Next he said, throw it on the earth. So he threw it on the earth, and it became a serpent. And Moses began to flee from it. I said, whoa! And Jehovah now said to Moses, thrust your hand out and grab hold of it by the tail. So he thrust his hand out and grabbed hold of it, and it became a rod in his palm. In order that, to quote him, they may believe that Jehovah, the God of their forefathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has appeared to you. Then Jehovah said to him once more, stick your hand, please, into the upper fold of your garment. So he stuck his hand into the upper fold of his garment. When he drew it out, why, here his hand was stricken with leprosy like snow. After that he said, return your hand into the upper fold of your garment. So he turned his hand into the upper fold of his garment. When he drew it out, the upper fold of his garment, why here it was restored like the rest of his flesh. And it must occur that, to quote him, if they will not believe you and will not listen to you, to the voice of the first sign, then they will certainly believe the voice of the latter sign. Still, it must occur that if they will not believe even these two signs and will not listen to your voice, then you will have to take some water from the Nile River and pour it out on the dry land. And the water that you will take from the Nile River will certainly become yes, it will indeed become blood on the dry land. So, now this I never knew. God is explaining to Moses the things that are going to happen, the plagues. That if they don't believe, you do this. If they don't believe that, you do this. If they don't believe that, you do this. He's explaining the plagues that you're going to have to bestow upon these people if they don't believe you. Now, God knew that Pharaoh was going to harden his heart. And it was done for purpose because God hardened Pharaoh's heart. So he's telling Moses, okay, if they don't believe you, you're going to do this. If that don't work, you're going to do this. If that don't work, you're going to do this. So we're down to the blood in the water. Even these two signs were not okay. And then he tells that you were going to take from the Nile River, certainly become, yes, it will indeed become blood on the dry land. Moses now said to Jehovah, excuse me, Jehovah, but I am not a fluent speaker. He's trying to get out of this. Isn't that what we do? God tells us to do something, and we want to get out of it. We don't believe that we can do it. We don't believe God has the provisions to give us to do it. So now Moses says, okay, but Jehovah, I am not a fluent speaker, neither since yesterday, nor since before, nor since you're speaking to your servant, for I am slow of mouth and slow of tongue. At that Jehovah said to him, who appointed a mouth for man, or who appoints the speechless, or the deaf, or the clear-sighted, or the blind? Is it not I, Jehovah? So now go, and I myself shall prove to be with your mouth, and I will teach you what you ought to say. But he said, excuse me, Jehovah, but send please by the hand of the one whom you are going to send. Then Jehovah's anger grew hot against Moses, and he said, is not Aaron the Levite your brother? I do not know that he can really speak. And besides, here he is on his way out to meet you. When he does see you, he will certainly rejoice in his heart. And you must speak to him and put the words in his mouth, and I myself shall prove to be with your mouth, in his mouth. And I will teach you men what you are to do. And he must speak for you to the people, and it must occur that he will serve as a mouth to you, and you will serve as God to him. And this rod you will take in your hand, that you may perform the signs with it. So he's trying to get out of it. He's trying to get out of it. And God says, okay, your brother's going to speak for you. And when he speaks to you, it's going to be like he's speaking to me. But your brother's going to speak for you, your brother Aaron. So cut out. He was getting angry. God got angry. So how many times have we say no, no, no till God gets angry with us? Because we're scared or we don't believe he's going to give us the provisions. God gives you provisions. He doesn't tell you to do anything unless he's going to provide for you. And it could be in a supernatural way. It could be in another way. He could tell you, go to college or go to speech class or go to, where they teach you how to articulate your words. They have classes like that. But he will speak through you. And that's the most important piece. So I can understand why God said, didn't I just say I'm going to speak to you, through you? And he's still telling me, but. Because Moses was scared. He didn't want to do it. He didn't feel like he was worthy. And we go through that ourselves. Amen. God will ask us to do something, tell us to do something. We feel it in our heart. We feel it in our soul. We don't do it because we don't feel worthy to do it. And then we miss out on the blessing. And we anger God. Something we shouldn't do. But it happens. Because we were like, God has given me this vision to do this. I can't do that. I'm not worthy. There's no way this is going to happen for me. It's too big of a dream. Because our minds are so small. God does things in grand manner. To us, it's in a grand manner. To him, it's like, what's the big deal? I'm sending you out. I just told you can use a rod. You can turn them, put leprosy on them. You can turn the Nile into blood. I'm giving you things that you can do. How is it you're scared? I don't speak well. Then he goes, I'll speak through you. I will be your mouth. My God, God speaks through you. That's mind-boggling. If God speaks through you, what are people in there? They'll be stunned. So, eventually, he must really love Moses because he said, okay, I'll make Aaron your mouthpiece. So he'll be your mouthpiece. You'll tell him what to say. So whatever I tell you to do, when you tell him what to say, it'll be coming from me. Because he says you'll be Aaron's God, meaning that, I'm going to tell you what to say, and you're going to tell him what to say. And he's going to know it's coming from God through you. And you must speak to him and put the words in his mouth, and I myself shall prove to be with your mouth and his mouth. And I will teach you men what you are to do. And he must speak for you to the people, and it must occur that he will serve as a mouth to you, and you will serve as God to him. Meaning, tell Aaron, everything that comes that I'm telling you is coming from God. So it's like God is speaking to you, because he's speaking through me to tell you what to do. And this rod you will take in your hand, that you may perform the signs with it. Accordingly, Moses went and returned to Jethro, his father-in-law, and said to him, I want to go, please, and return to my brothers who are in Egypt, that I may see whether they are still alive. So Jethro said to Moses, go in peace. After that, Jehovah said to Moses in Midian, go, return to Egypt. All the men who were hunting for your soul are dead. Remember, Moses killed somebody, or he killed somebody. He killed an Egyptian that was beating a Hebrew, and then he ran. So now all the people that was after to get him, they're dead. Then Moses took his wife and his sons and made them ride on an ass, and he proceeded to return to the land of Egypt. Moreover, Moses took the rod of the true God in his hand. And Jehovah went on to say to Moses, after you have gone and returned to Egypt, see that you men actually perform all the miracles that I have put in your hand before Pharaoh. As for me, I shall let his heart become obstinate, and he will not send the people away. And you must say to Pharaoh, this is what Jehovah has said. Israel is my son, my firstborn, and I say to you, send my son away, and that he may serve me. But should you refuse to send him away, here I am killing your sons, your firstborn. God is telling Moses right off the bat what he's going to do. He already told him, I'm gonna make Moses harden his heart. I'm going to make him obstinate. He ain't going to want to do it. And then you're going to have to say, okay, God is going to do this. Now, Moses is aware of what's going to happen. He's telling him ahead of time. I never knew that either. But he's going to make Pharaoh's heart obstinate. He's going to harden his heart, and Pharaoh's going to say, never, never, no, until the firstborn is killed. And that's when Pharaoh's going to believe. And now it came about on the road to the lodging place that Jehovah got to meet him and kept looking for a way to put him to death. Finally, Zipporah took a flint and cut off her son's foreskin and caused it to touch his feet and said, it is because you are a bridegroom of blood to me. Consequently, he let go of him at that time. She said, a bridegroom of blood because of the circumcision. Then Jehovah said to Aaron, go meet Moses into the wilderness. With that, he went and met him in the mountain of the true God and kissed him. And Moses proceeded to tell Aaron all the words of Jehovah, who has sent him, all the signs that he had commanded him to do. After that, Moses and Aaron went and gathered all the older men of the sons of Israel. Then Aaron spoke all the words that Jehovah had spoken to Moses, and he performed the signs under the eyes of the people. At this, the people believed. When they heard that Jehovah had turned his attention to the sons of Israel, and that he had seen their affliction, then they bowed down and prostrated themselves. So they started praying to God, right? after they realize that this is true. There's another thing that you have to realize. Moses, at this time, is like 80 years old. He's not a young man. That tells you that God can call you at any time in your life. He can call you at any time in your life. And when he calls you, you need to answer. He can call you at any time in your life. Moses is 80 years old. For us, 80 years old, we winding down. We ain't planning on doing nothing. Go see the grandkids, travel a little. We might not even still be preaching. We might be just, consulting and being the concierge to person who's taking over the church. As a consultant, you're there to, just to help guide them. At 80, so Moses is 80 years old. He can call you at any time. He's complaining, he can't speak well. He sends Aaron with him. He sends the miracles with him. And that's when they realize that he's telling the truth. And afterwards, Moses and Aaron went in and proceeded to say to Pharaoh, "This is what Jehovah, the God of Israel, has said. Send my people away that they may celebrate a festival to me in the wilderness." But Pharaoh said, "Who is Jehovah, so that I should obey his voice to send Israel away? I do not know Jehovah at all. And what is more, I am not going to send Israel away." However, they went on to say, "The God of the Hebrews has come in touch with us. We want to go, please, a journey of 3 days into the wilderness and sacrifice of Jehovah's our God. Otherwise, he may strike at us with pestilence or with sword." At this, the king of Egypt said to them, "Why is it, Moses and Aaron, that you cause the people to leave off from their works? Go bearing your burdens." And Pharaoh continued, "Look, the people of the land are now many, and you indeed make them desist from their bearing of burdens." Immediately on that day, Pharaoh commanded that those who drove the people to work and their officers, saying, "You must not gather straw to give to the people to make bricks or formerly. Let themselves go and gather straw for themselves. Moreover, the required amount of bricks that they were making formerly, you will further impose upon them. You must not make any reduction for them, because they are relaxing. That is why they are crying out, saying, 'We want to go. We want to sacrifice to our God.' Let the service be heavy upon the men, and let them work it out. Work at it, and let them not pay attention to false words." Wow. So Pharaoh's talking big stuff. Oh, so you're making them want to leave work. They talk about leaving work about this Jehovah. I don't know who this Jehovah is. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it worse for them. We did bring straw to them so that they can make the bricks. Now they're going to have to go find their own straws. And we're not going to cut down the amount of bricks they have to build per day. So now they got to go get their own straw and do the bricks. But we were bringing straw to them. Now they got to go get their own. And they better not fall behind. They better not fall behind. Moses is Pharaoh's mad. He says, "Who's this Jehovah? I'm a king. Don't come talk to me. I don't even know who this Jehovah is. Who is he to tell me what to do? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Since you got the people all riled up, not showing up for work, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it worse for them." What do you think about that? Ooh. Remember, Moses was already aware of the fact that God was going to make Pharaoh's heart hard. Because he told him. He told him before he got there, "I'm going to make Pharaoh abstinent. I'm going to make his heart hard." So it ain't going to be an easy task. He's going to be hard-hearted. But when he gets to that point, we're going to kill the firstborn. Then he'll bring him back. So Moses already knows what's going on. So it shouldn't even be a surprise to him. He's not surprised. This is what God said was going to happen. So consequently, the people scattered about over all the land of Egypt to gather stubble for straw. And those who drove them to work kept urging them, saying, finish your works, each one his work, day for day, just as when straw was available. So they had to get up earlier and draw straw to build their bricks. So God hardened Pharaoh's heart because he wanted to prove that he was God. Moses already knew this, so he wasn't shocked. Now, how the people took it was a whole new ballgame. They were upset. Now we got to get up and find our own straw, and we can't fall behind with the amount of bricks that we make per day. So I can imagine them thinking Moses has made it worse for us. Moses made it worse because we tend to lose the faith. We pray to God for things that we're going through, and we get to a point where we feel like God isn't helping us. And you know, the darkest hour is always before the light. And we feel like things are getting worse. They don't seem to be getting better. And I keep fasting and praying, and they seem to be getting worse. And the Bible says you should pray and cease not, or do not faint. Don't stop praying. Don't stop fasting. Don't stop believing. Your faith should get stronger, not weaker. But we tend to get weak. God ain't with us. Oh man, I must be being punished for some reason. I'm just going to stop. Go back to my old ways. Slavery ain't so bad. It's not so bad. I don't want to deal with this. And that's a problem we have in our human form. We forget the power of God and who God really is and how he can deliver us and give us provisions for any given situation we're in. And what we need to do is understand that and never forget that. And continue to pray and fast for any situation we're in and believe with all our faith of a mustard seed, that God is going to deliver us from any given situation. And once we start to believe that and not faint in our praying and fasting and belief and faith, God will deliver us. Now, sometimes you say, well, why is it taking so long? Why is it taking so long? You say to God, why is it taking so long? Why am I still dealing with this? Why is it taking so long? Sometimes God is teaching you something. He's changing not just your situation, but he's changing your behavior. He's changing you. And sometimes you have to change for your situation to get better. You have to change. You have to change. You cannot be delivered from something you want to be delivered from if you're not delivered from it yourself. I got to get into that one. But you cannot be delivered until you deliver. Cannot be delivered from a situation until you deliver it. That's kind of hard to understand, right? But I'm going to get into it. In fact, Sunday I got a sermon I'll be preaching on that, and I'm going to show you what I mean. There's some scriptures in there that talks about that, and I'm going to bring it all to fruition. So let me tell you, we will finish and continue on our Bible study. Bible study is getting good, getting better and better. I love Bible study. I dig deep, and I want you to, if you have any questions, to email me or stream me or whatever you're watching, Facebook, YouTube, whatever the case may be, email, stream me. And I am Dr. Tony Wimbush, and I am the pastor, English-speaking associate pastor for the Men and Women of Valor Pentecostal Church, located on 347 6th Avenue. My pastor, Pastor Barrero, is progressive pastor, and we are doing things here. We're going to be here Saturday, giving out turkeys. So if you hear me and see me, come and get a turkey. Giving them out to the community. And we are serving our community. So, God bless you. See you next Wednesday, and have a blessed week.